Now we're going to get back to locations for a minute. We talked about the types of locations that you want to put in your feature film and how to think about that and how to leverage those. But I want to tell you a little bit more about how to use your locations and things to be aware of. First off, when you're looking for locations, go visit them physically, and I want you to be really, really sensitive to sound. You want to make sure that at the location that you're using for your film, you want to make sure that it's really, really quiet, or there's a way to control the sound. Because if you run into a situation where the sound is not quiet or you can't control it, it can be so damaging to your film. Not only in production time, when you're constantly stopping for sound interruptions, and that can kill the flow and the momentum, it can kill your morale as well. But then when you get into post, if you don't have clean sound, that's the first thing that tells on you. It's gonna say, you're an amateur, this person's an amateur, this film is no good, you don't wanna watch it if there's bad sound. And you don't wanna have to go back and do ADR, where you're looping voices in and trying to re-record the dialogue. You know, that costs a lot of time and money as well. It's really difficult to get just right in the edit and for that to feel legit. So just start from the very beginning and make sure that the location that you're getting is quiet and you can control it. And then that way you don't have to worry about being interrupted or having to go back and post and try to fix things and redo the audio. For Smells Like Community Spirit, that was one of my high priorities. And because we were shooting at that summer camp, when they were not open, it was kind of at the end of their off season, then there was virtually nobody there. So when we were shooting in the bowling alley, no sound interruptions. We were shooting in the diner area, no sound interruptions. When we're shooting at my house, no sound interruptions. When we were shooting outside, because it was relatively distant from most other things, it was like somewhat of a residential area close by, and that was it. You know, not a lot of busy streets. So I think there was one moment where we had to hold for an ice cream truck for a few minutes, and that was basically it. So we were able to keep that momentum, shoot a ton of pages each day, keep everybody excited, keep the momentum going, keep the morale up. And in post, there was only one scene that needed any ADR, and it was just because I tried something stupid and I didn't pay attention to the sound myself, or else it would have been a sound issue with that either. So you got to really consider a quiet place where you're going to shoot. Then you're also going to have to consider the space of the location. And what I mean by that is there's obviously the space that you're going to use that's going to show up on camera where the actors are going to deliver. That's a part of that location. But there are several other spaces that you're going to need for other things, where the equipment go and where staging is and some things like that. And you're going to have to consider all of those elements and variables when you're looking for a location. And you need adequate space for all of those things, because what I've experienced after doing several feature films is space equals calm. The more space everything has for its own mass and for its own energy, then the more calm that you have. A location can only hold so much energy and so much mass before it starts to negatively affect the morale of the crew. Everybody starts to get a little irritable, and things are a little tense, and things aren't going quite as well, and everybody might tighten up or start to bicker when there's not appropriate amount of space. So I want you to think about these things when you think about your location. Be sure to think about, obviously, the set, where you're going to capture the actors doing their thing, space for the equipment, parking, where's everybody going to park, parking for the crew, but also parking if you have a grip truck or an RV that's involved, you know, a large vehicle, you're going to have to think about parking for them as well. Where will makeup and hair go? Where will wardrobe go? Extras, if you have extras or background actors involved, where are the actors going in between their scenes? Where does your crafty and, you know, craft services and food go? Where are you going to sit and eat at mealtime? And where's your production office going to be, or for enough space for Video Village? You might have a small crew like we talked about. It might be a smaller footprint, but you're still going to have to think about those things and allowing space for them. You know, you might be able to combine spaces. You know, hair and makeup and wardrobe may not all need their own space, but you still need a place where you can sit down. Somebody can apply their makeup. They can look at a mirror. They can go change their clothes, get in and out. you might have to utilize a bathroom for that. But thinking about where each thing is going to go so it has its own place and it contributes to a positive energy rather than affecting morale in a negative way. You want to make sure that you have space for all those things. And again, when you're thinking about the location from a budget standpoint, if you do have to spend money on your budget, there's some ways that you can make the money work for you or to work twice as hard. So if you are utilizing a location that has a business component to it, you could offer to pay them by buying gift cards from them. So what I mean is, let's say it's a restaurant or it's a local comic book store. You could say, can I, instead of me paying you $100 to use your location, could I simply buy a $100 gift card? Is that something that you're willing to consider? Then you use that gift card, and when you need to offer compensation to somebody else for some other reason, maybe it is an actor or a crew member that you feel like you need to compensate in some way, or maybe it's somebody who maybe you need to quiet the ice cream truck, in the neighborhood that's making too much noise. You need to ask that kind of favor. Then you utilize a gift card or a series of gift cards and give to them. And so that way you just paid for two expenses with really just one expense. So that's something for you to consider as well. So maybe if it is a restaurant, maybe it's the pizza place and you work out a deal and we need to shoot in the pizza place. And maybe could you feed our crew while we're here? And in exchange, I'll buy $100 worth of gift cards for you, but can you give me 5 $20 gift cards? And then you're going to use those 5 $20 gift cards to compensate other people in different ways. So you can make that money work twice as hard for you with the location or with other business partners that are involved. With your locations, another form of payment that you can offer is just like for the food, product placement. You can involve the business in the movie in a favorable way if that's something that they're interested in. And then the other thing that you can consider is offering to produce a commercial for them with the equipment and the crew that you have access for. Maybe you can work that in. So you can't pay them dollars, but you can make a 30-second promo for their location that then they can leverage, and you can use that as compensation as well. But with the product placement, that is something that we've used in the past. With our movie A Strange Brand of Happy, the owners of a regional pizza chain were very interested in the idea of both investing in the film and showing their pizza place on camera, because it was the local hangout for some of the characters, but their inside their restaurants look really cool. It's a great brand. And so we were able to show their pizza place on camera. And then they were actually investors in the movie. So that partnership worked out really well.